move on and we could talk about Newcastle United, Pete, because we know the big 21-22 losses now drop out of PSR for next season. What spending power does that now give the club? And in terms of a budget, what are we talking for Newcastle going into this summer transfer window?
Yeah, obviously that's a bonus for Newcastle that those losses from 21-22 are going to drop out from PSR calculations. Obviously, they've been forced to balance the books this summer, selling Elliot Anderson and Yankuba Minta for big money. So that's gone a long way to helping Newcastle financially. Look, we all know Newcastle, they could have an endless budget if there was no PSR regulations or anything like that. They're the richest club in the world right now as well, but they are sort of cutting their cloth right now to ensure that they don't breach any PSR or FFP regulations. They've been quite savvy so far in the market. They haven't spent, really. They brought Lloyd Kelly in on a free transfer. They've signed Vlachodimos for a small fee from Nottingham Forest and John Ruddy on a free. So, yeah, I'd expect Newcastle to start making a few big money moves between now and the end of August when the transfer window closes. There's a few areas of the team that Eddie Howe is looking to strengthen in. He would like to bring in another centre-back. Obviously, we know Botman's injured. Jamal Lascelles are both injured. They're probably not going to be back in action until 2025. So, yeah, Eddie Howe wants cover in the centre-back area, and the key position for him this transfer window is that right winger. He wants that right winger, an inverted winger, left-footed, who can come in and score goals, create goals, and be a direct runner who can get at defences as well. So I think that's the key area of the team. Probably the big success story for Newcastle this transfer window is keeping hold of Bruno Guimaraes, who obviously had that release clause of £100 million in his contract, which expired at the end of June. So that's a big boost for Newcastle that they've managed to keep hold of him, and also Alex Isak as well, who attracted a lot of interest from other clubs. Chelsea were sniffing around the Sweden international, but it looks like they've managed to fend them off and price him out of a move. So it looks like Alex Isak will be staying at the club as well. And they had all the speculation around Anthony Gordon as well. So as it stands right now, keeping hold of those three players and money to spend in the transfer market, maybe not loads of money, but with money to spend to maybe bring in that centre-back and right winger. It's been a positive window so far for Newcastle.
And in terms of names, Pete, potentially talking about a centre-back, have there been any names that have been touted potentially for a move to St James's Park this summer?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about the AC Milan defender, Malak Thia, a young player, centre-back who came from Germany, from Schalke. Has been in and out of the team at Milan, but got a very good reputation. He would tick a lot of boxes for Newcastle, so there has been talks with Milan over a potential deal for him. Milan don't really want to lose him, but I think if the right offer was there to be made, maybe there's a possibility that deal could happen. There's also been rumours of Tomori from AC Milan, the former Chelsea defender, whether he could be prized away from the San Siro to return to England. He's another player. Again, he's done really well since he's moved to Italy. He's really enhanced his reputation, and he's probably been on the fringes of the England squad as well. So maybe he might feel the time is right to come back to England. And again, that's a deal that maybe Newcastle looked at. He would be a lot more expensive than Theo as well. So I think Newcastle right now, we know what criteria they're looking for. They do like to sign young players that Eddie Howe can help develop as well. And I'm sure the recruitment team now with Paul Mitchell in place will be looking at a number of defensive options and somebody that they can help feel that will bolster the team and help them next season, especially with the injuries to Botman and Lascelles.
And Paul, looking off the field at some news with the execs, Amanda Staveley and Mehrdad Ghodoussi have left the club. What are your thoughts on that piece of news for them, and what impact could that have going into next season?
I'm not so sure. Amanda was obviously key to the takeover, wasn't she? She took the deal to the Saudis and put it all together. I think she was the heartbeat and the drive behind all that. But I think now that the club is under the ownership it is, they're obviously very, very comfortable with where they are, confident in the setup that they've got off the field, and that they want to take full control and full ownership of their own football club, which is understandable. And I suspect that they've been bought out at a rather healthy price. So I think it's probably a deal that works quite nicely for both parties, in all honesty.
Paul, picking up.
I think they've done a great job, those two, to be fair.
Yeah, they have, haven't they?
I think they've done a very good job in the 3 years, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they'd be involved in any other potential takeovers at the Premier League. So keep an eye on that.
And when you look at the documentary, the Newcastle United documentary, I watched that, and you see the drive that Amanda Staveley had in bringing Anthony Gordon to the club, and the input that she has, and the drive and the passion that she had for making that transfer happen, and for putting the club where it is, as in developing the stadium, the training ground, bringing players in, you can understand, the links possibly to other clubs for them to go on and to get a takeover. But as far as Newcastle is concerned, it's almost like your job's done here. We want to take full ownership of our club.
Yeah, on to the next challenge, I guess, for them. Picking up on that, Pete, as well, you mentioned Paul Mitchell in there, new sporting director at the club. What's his long-term vision for Newcastle? And there's been some hints about multi-club ownership. Could we see that come to fruition over the next few months and years?
Yeah, there's no secret that the Saudi PIF owners want multi-club structure at the club. Even before Paul Mitchell's arrival, they were looking at a possible contenders that they could buy. There was talks with several Belgian clubs which haven't come to anything as yet. There also been talk that they've instructed agents and other people to maybe look at other potential avenues for the club to maybe buy a second club, with some possible options in Portugal as well. So yeah, I think with Paul Mitchell coming in now, he's worked at RB Leipzig, who obviously have a multi-club structure as well. So I would expect that his expertise will come in handy right now. And I would expect now with the Saudis taking full control of the club, with Amanda Staveley and everything moving on, that maybe that will speed up as well, that they will carry forward those plans to try and add some clubs to their portfolio as well. We've seen it with Liverpool in the process of trying to add a second club to their portfolio with Bordeaux as well. And I'm sure Newcastle, with the finances they've got on offer under the Saudi PIF fund, will be looking at potential options across Europe to see if they can add a feeder club to Newcastle United as well, because we've seen the success what Manchester City have had with the City Group and other clubs as well with feeder clubs. So it seems more and more clubs are going down this avenue of having multi-club structures.
You've just watched a segment from Football Insider's brand new podcast, The Inside Track, with me, Lewis Pearce, alongside the guests on the show. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please do give the video a like, comment your thoughts on the topic, and feel free to share on your social media pages. If you want to listen to the full podcast episode, click the link in the description below. Keep your eyes peeled for plenty more content and exclusives here on The Inside Track.